We want to talk about something that happened with the London School of Economics, Beryl. Oh dear, this is what they've done.
Intelligent people there.
The London School of Economics are very intelligent people, they tell me. And they have been around for quite some time. Mm-hmm. And so they have traditional names for their terms, going back to how it was in those days. The terms of university were based on the religious theme of the season that was happening at the time. Michaelmas, around the feast of St. Michael, is one of the terms. Christmas, around the feast of Christ at that time. Lent, build up to Easter, and then Easter itself. So you've got those old terms, the traditional terms. Now, it used to be the case that to have a degree in an English university, you had to be ordained into the Church of England. I only know this because I read a biography of Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, who refused. Somehow they got round it. He wouldn't be ordained into the Church of England. Not because he wasn't a Christian. He was a committed Christian, Newton. But he had theological differences with the Church of England and wouldn't be ordained. And he almost lost out getting his degree. But he got it in the end. I know that that's the case. That it was based a lot on the church year. At the time, I don't know who first coined the term, but it was believed that theology was the main subject. Then you had other subjects under it.
Right.
So there was natural science, for example, that covered physical things, what we now call the sciences, but that was natural science. But theology was the queen of the sciences. This was a phrase that used to be used. Theology, and under that, natural sciences. So anyway, there's a Christian history, is what I'm saying, to the education. They've changed it, Beryl. They've changed the names. The LSE now says that they're changing the names of their terms to be more widely recognisable and better reflect the international nature of its community. Michaelmas is autumn. Christmas is winter break. And Lent is winter term. And Easter is spring break. LSE then has made this change. Says the school management committee, this is their own view of themselves, it is one of the foremost social science universities in the world, and it took the decision to change the name after discussions and consultations last term. Now, harking back to our previous conversation on this show, I wonder whether they consulted a chatbot, because it doesn't seem to be a very intelligent
I doubt it somehow.
I've got some responses here, but what is your response to that? I'll read out other commentators' responses in a minute. But Beryl, what do you think of their move?
I suppose I don't really regard it as significant.
Okay.
In the sense that people can say, let them say, sort of thing. People will always be coming up with change. They're never satisfied with
yes, that's true.
The way things are. I guess they want to refer to their international students and to allow them to feel more comfortable.
They've kept with autumn. The other terms, like spring break, I recognise from American movies as being a term. But
I've not come across it.
And autumn, often called fall in America, but it is also called autumn. It's not exclusively fall, so it could easily be the American terms.
Why do we have to give in to the Americans all the time?
That would be your comment, yeah. There are some other comments here. This is from Marcus Walker. Now, he's a priest in the Diocese of London, and he says the changing of the names is pathetic, and I'm quoting. Mm-hmm. He posted this on Twitter. He said, this is happening explicitly within the context of the erasing of Christianity from LSE's terminology. So he sees there being a wider problem within LSE. They want to take all Christian terminology out of its system. Calvin Robinson, who's referred to here on this Premier Christian News site as a conservative Anglican deacon.
Right.
He's been ordained into the Free Church of England, and so at this stage he's a deacon. I guess he could become a priest in the future. And he's also a TV presenter. He said this, LSE is whitewashing Christ from the calendar. We truly live in a post-Christian Britain, and it's ugly. Do you find the new terms ugly? I must admit it was a bit of a shock, less poetic maybe.
I would think he meant ugly to the spiritual mind. Mm. It doesn't surprise me. It's been said for a long time now that we live in a post-Christian society.
That's a claim that's made.
Yes. Mm. And as we can no longer claim to be a Christian nation.
Well, we looked at the numbers of people who identify Christian, which is under 50% now. But the next popular religion is nowhere close, like a few percent. The next affiliation people had was with no religion, which doesn't mean atheist. I had, in the whole of England and Wales, there was less than 40,000 atheists. There just are many. So it's not that people are losing their religion or going to other religions, so it's that they don't think at all about it.
Well, one would say they are humanist, perhaps.
They just say they have no religion. I don't think you can necessarily read into that. But you see, things like this are making an impact of it not being a Christian anymore. For example, they're changing the titles of some of their positions, which is, I think, what was being referred to by that priest. I don't know, I don't have the details here, but for example, the head of a college could be called a dean, which is a religious title.
Yes, it is.
So maybe they've changed the name to school manager or something. I don't know. Something
principal.
More per se. Is dean the same as principal? Yeah, I guess so. Not quite the same.
I don't regard it as being the
same.
No,
but you may be right. Maybe that's what they called him. But it's a removing of Christian symbolism. To do what? Why? Why would you be doing that? It's said to make it international. But many countries are also Christian. So what, to allow Muslims in? What is it? Who?
Well, I think they do want to allow Muslims.
Well, Muslims are allowed
Hindus and Confucian, or whatever that noun is for people who study Confucianism.
I don't think there are many of those, but yes, maybe.
I don't know.
Well, in China, it tends to be Taoism or Taoism is more popular. Tao just means the way, which is interesting because that was the name given to early Christians. It's a different system of thought. Well, yeah, Confucianism was very popular in China, but the people who would have followed that are sort of replaced it with communism. That's my reading of it anyway, so I don't think it's that common anymore. Maybe it's making a resurgence, I don't know. But there we are, yeah, it's a change in the LSE. It seems to be a move that's just a sign of the times. It's not in itself serious, I agree, Beryl, but maybe it's an indicator of where we're going.
Well, yes, it's certainly an indicator of where we're going, and I think I did ask you when we were talking about this before, are Oxford and Cambridge going to follow suit?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe they will. Well, we'll leave that there as we'll see what happens. Watch this space.